Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. The only healthcare that is also a podcast. Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, Dr. LondonSmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. Aww. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as immunovascular markers and Mayday, so I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Hey, Dr. London, you're kind of looking a little nervous. What?
Yeah.
You were basically, the intro's been the exact same since the beginning of this show, and you were tripping over yourself.
Yeah, well, it's just, so I've been, as you know, I tried stand-up comedy recently. So,
yeah, we did talk about that on a previous episode. We played a clip, actually, of some of your stand-up.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think of how everything I do in the podcast, maybe if I could just bring that onto the stage, then I wouldn't have to write new stuff.
Right. The general response to your stand-up has encouraged you to continue. That's very interesting.
Yeah. Well,
that wouldn't have been what I guessed, but Well,
I don't know if you remember, but so many people were yelling the whole time.
Everyone was yelling a lot. Everyone was saying your name quite a bit, or at least describing the person they were seeing.
Yeah. So all these descriptions of myself, it was very affirming to me to hear that people recognized stuff, and they kept saying tell a joke, and I was like, okay, they're ready for it. That was my take from that.
I guess from the standpoint of all news is good news. You know what I mean? Sort of all, even negative press is sort of positive these days.
Uh-huh.
You can get on a reality show and intentionally be awful, and that'll still net you 200,000 followers. Is that sort of the angle you're going?
No, well, for me, of course, it's I was so good
that everyone's just shouting "Look at this guy!"
Yeah.
Holy hell!
Bring on the comedian, and I'm like, well, I will, but So anyway, yeah. So this is I'm trying to if my tone changes a little bit while I'm talking, it's because I'm kind of trying out what if I said this on stage.
So let's go ahead and I'm not asking you to do 5 minutes, but you can do a joke, right?
Well, yeah. Well, most of it I think is because most of it's tonality. That's how they do the stand-up stuff.
Oh, right. So you're going for the Bill Burr doesn't actually have a punchline. It's just sort of how he says it angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. People are always comparing me to Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say he gets maybe some leeway on that solely because he's been around for 7,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you're going to be given sort of the same leeway.
Yeah. You think it's the haircut?
Oh, yeah. That's. I would say that is mostly it. Yeah. You're not going to be taken as seriously as someone as serious as Bill Burr.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I'm going to just once in a while try to.
Who's also one of your biggest podcasting rivals.
Yeah. You don't have to tell me. It's strange that we are competing so much against the same demographic too.
Yeah. We've talked about it over the last few episodes, but we've ran the numbers. We've ran the Google Analytics. Our audience has completely changed demographics to solely being people between the ages of 45 and 55, and that is it. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, wait, I'm 22, or, oh, wait, I'm 72. No, you're not. Wrong.
Incorrect. And also, one thing that we maybe don't always touch on quite as heavily, but it does come up, is you're also illiterate if you're a listener.
You're also illiterate. That is a huge part of the analytics that we've sort of analyzed and realized that, a lot of these big words we've been saying, like illiterate, maybe have been causing some of these issues in the world today. I take the blame for it. I do.
Well, that's why at the top of the show, I apologize right off the bat because, May Day is a tough thing to say and to learn. And so, just...
I don't know if you've listened to a recent episode. We've cut down the apology quite a bit, at least by a minute, because you would go on and on. You're like, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Listeners, I am so sorry.
Which, once again, I think would sound much better if I just said it like a stand-up comedian.
Oh, yeah. You could just go on stage, and as long as you have a consistent tone, you could just apologize.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So, like...
That would be really fitting for you. Sort of like a weaselly, like, just guy who gets on stage and just it's like, I'm so sorry, and like shrinks up and apologizes.
Yeah.
That seems very Dr. London.
Well, the apology section of my set, yeah. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, all the canceled people do it, I think. You know, and they make it big, so...
you're trying to get canceled so you get a $120 million Netflix
I'm
deal.
just noticing who's making it, who isn't, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be canceled, but I want to copy their style of doing stand-up after they're canceled.
Oh, okay. Skip the problematic stuff. Jump straight to the teary-eyed apology. Yeah. And then just people will assume what they assume. It doesn't matter. Because they'll try Googling it. It's going to be drowned out by the apology news.
Yeah.
So they're going to be like, well, I guess it must have been something.
Must have been something pretty bad.
And then boom, Netflix deal.
Or a Grammy.
Suddenly you're on a yacht with Chris D'Elia.
Mm-hmm. Which, and it's not like the downside of it is I won't be able to choose my company, but you know.
You don't have to be on a yacht with him if you don't want to. I would recommend not.
Whatever company I find, I don't always get to choose. But anyway, so that's our producer Cameron. Also with us is Did You Know in the House? I don't know if I want to be canceled, but I want to copy their style of doing stand-up after they're canceled.
Oh, you're trying to get canceled so you get a $120 million Netflix deal. Skip the problematic stuff, jump straight to the teary-eyed apology, and then just people will assume what they assume. It doesn't matter. Because they'll try Googling it, it's going to be drowned out by the apology news. So they're going to be like, well, I guess it must have been something. And then boom, Netflix deal. Suddenly, you're on a yacht with Chris D'Elia. Suddenly, you're on a yacht with Chris D'Elia. Suddenly, you're on a yacht with Chris D'Elia. Suddenly, you're on a yacht with... Suddenly, on a yacht with Chris D'Elia. Suddenly, you're on a yacht with Chris D'Elia.
But before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. And as we said, our listener demographics, with our marketing, they've changed. So these are illiterate middle-aged people. So this week's feedback comes in the form of a booger wrapped in tissue.
That's right, Dr. London.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and take that into consideration as feedback. And we're just gonna put that away over here, okay?
You haven't opened it up because there might be a message. You're taking this, I feel like, as offense. Knowing our listeners, this might just be the only way they know how to seal a piece of paper closed, sort of their mucus. So if you could just go ahead and just open it up if you could. You're a doctor.
I did open it up enough to see the booger. I don't know. What are you seeing there?
Well,
it's bloody.
I guess it's sort of. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of looking like looking up in the clouds, right? Like, what do you see? It's a Rorschach test. Like, I mean, I see sort of a young man who's at the base of a mountain, knowing this might be his last journey, but he's gonna fight. He's gonna climb because it's what he always dreamed. Because his dad died.
Yeah, so I guess
he tripped right in front of the mountain. He tripped. Like super hard, and he busted his knee. And he didn't want to put a band-aid or anything on it because he thought that was lame, so it got infected and it went to his brain.
Okay, so
that's what I see.
Yeah, and so I guess in the sense of that being feedback for us, that would be like the listeners are saying, that was our way before to not use a band-aid, to not bandage a wound, and now they would bandage a wound.
This could be a note from the dead guy saying, like, this person's the dad of the person I'm seeing in this booger, saying I was wrong for not putting the Band-Aid on.
Okay, so I guess we'll take both of these opinions and this interpretation of the feedback into account. So on my end, I'd go ahead and say that it is probably just a bloody booger. And on your end, you'll say it's a sort of a story and a metaphor for a man whose child died on the mountain because they...
No, the man died on the mountain because he tripped too hard. And now the child, to sort of like remember his father, is going to do what his dad wasn't able to do because his dad tripped just so dang hard.
Yeah.
Just right at the front of the mountain.
Yeah. Okay.
Scraped his knee so bad.
Okay, so
it went to his brain.
Yeah, so two interpretations of the same booger. And, that's, for our listeners, there are a lot of ways to interpret a lot of things. And maybe I guess that's the takeaway.
I think there's usually two, right? The right way and the wrong way.
Yes.
Yeah, well, with the booger, I feel like there's a lot of room for interpretation, but maybe I'm...
Oh, you're one of those, like, there's no morality, like, there's nothing is objective, everything is just how people perceive it. You're one of those guys, huh?
If we're interpreting boogers, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Like,
oh, what is objective reality? Oh, man. Oh, is my blue your red colors, dude? Come on.
So that could be, like, okay, I don't... That's significantly more advanced than booger. But in any case, thank you to this listener for sending in your feedback, which was in the form of a booger wrapped in tissue. Now for today's medical topic, Empty Sella Syndrome. And so I'm going to just, like I said, I guess since my stand-up comedy was so successful, I'm going to once again just try the tonality. I feel like that can change this.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, if we can sort of really get a full set of sort of just pathetic apologizing.
Okay, yeah.
I think that would be, really, really good.
So, Empty Sella Syndrome, okay? This is a disorder in which the pituitary is undersized, flattened, and is not visible on MRI. All right, okay? So, Empty Sella Syndrome, it can be an incidental finding.
Throw in, like, have you guys heard about this?
Yeah.
Have you heard about this? Actually, then, like, point to someone, be like, have you heard about this? I'm sure you've heard about this.
Look,
I can tell you've heard about this.
Okay, yeah, because it's relatable. That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys heard about this Empty Sella Syndrome? Yeah, so it can be an incidental finding, right? But that of course means that it can be found while looking for something else. And it's associated with surgery, obesity, and radiation therapy. However,
and that's when you could sort of be like you.
And I point to people that look like they've had radiation poisoning or surgeries or whatever, or obese. Yeah.
You can usually tell with radiation poisoning if they are over, I would say, like, if they are over maybe like 13 feet tall and have sort of superhuman strength and maybe like multiple arms and maybe is joining up with other radioactive people, I would say that is a huge sign. And that is the medical lesson. That's it.
Okay, well, so I'm going to go on a little bit more. So 70% of these empty sella syndromes are idiopathic, meaning we don't know what caused them. But management of empty sella syndrome is basically just to check the thyroid.
You lost the stand-up cadence.
Oh, sorry. And so management. We're going to move on. We identified it, right? So when I go to manage this empty sella syndrome, all I do is check the thyroid and adrenal function and then address any abnormalities I find. But here's the kicker. Sometimes it's simply an imaging issue. There may not be any abnormalities at all to find. And then, like, that's whenever I would assume either the applause or the replies.
Well, like, if you're saying you're not finding something, that's when you mime sort of like searching for something.
Okay.
You're like, huh, where is it?
So there may not be any.
And then start looking in like the seats, like go through the audience. People love when comedians do stuff like this. Go through the audience and you're just like, huh, just like, let me look through people's purses.
People do like that.
Like if anyone has like a breast pocket, you're just like looking in there peeking. You're going like, is it in there?
Okay. So I get, so that part I don't know if I can convey as well through the podcast, since I don't have Like, I get what you're saying, but all of that sounds very visual.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I didn't realize you were the type to you're just not even willing to try when you hear something innovative. But that's fine. That's okay. You see the limitations of technology as a stop sign. I totally get that. Lots of people, I would say most people see that. True innovators don't. They see the limitations of technology as an opportunity to overcome them. But I could see from your perspective how, like, you're like, oh, me searching in people's pockets in the audience isn't going to be conveyed well on the podcast. I see that as a challenge, something to learn and actually create. But me versus
honestly,
you.
I know you're coaching me here on my stand-up, but this is making me want to see yours.
Oh, you don't want to see my stand-up?
Yeah, no, I think I did, but I mean, we could put a pin in it for now. But this is I think I want to see you because I know how much you like to rummage.
Yeah, but you don't want, like, I'm saying
you're a natural rummager.
You can come to my stand-up and you can listen to it. I'm saying you don't want to see it. There's so many lights involved. It has caused quite a bit of temporary blindness. And now I'm working on this again, Dr. London. This is a technological limitation. This is a challenge that I am going to overcome. Is that I keep blinding my audience.
Okay. Well, in any case, that's the medical lesson. That's the stand-up comedy, which we're really making that work. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Gonna try that on Wednesday. All right. All right, Cameron, you said that we have some special guests today. Is that right?
That's right, Dr. London. We actually, some weeks we have one guest.
Okay.
Have you ever considered what it might possibly be like to double that? We have the budget for it, Dr. London. We do.
I don't think we do. I think you've miscalculated, and that's how we end up in these messes with, like, my house is flooded because the plumbing budget was supposed to go to.
You don't understand. Like, so the guy that I gave the $1,300 to, that's going to come back 10 times that, because he's got an algorithm that figures out when boxers are gonna get injured, and then you can bet on their, like, hospital bill.
Okay, I guess I just don't see how, like, underwear can be injured. It's just, but I'm sorry, we're keeping you waiting. Hello there, my name is.
Yes, we have two guests.
Dr. LondonSmith.com, and this is our producer Cameron. What were your names?
Hi, you two. I'm stoner chick Kayla.
Oh, I'm sorry. We need to. There might have been some confusion just because of a different thing. We are not the band U2. I'm sorry if you were misled into thinking that. I have sort of a U2 phishing account where I sort of.
You look like the Edge.
I sort of try to pretend to be the Edge, and I do the, like, guitar thing through my phishing accounts. And I might have gotten wires crossed. This is Dr. London. I'm producer Cameron, but I really apologize. We're not the Irish band U2.
Well, stoner chick Stephanie here is slightly disappointed, but still here for a party.
This isn't the first time I've let someone down by not being U2. So
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we don't normally get that
on.
kind of. People don't forgive us that easily for not being U2. Most of the time.
Yeah. Because this has happened a number of times where we get someone on the podcast. We get, like, Billy Joel, and he's like, oh, yeah, I want to talk to Bono. And then it's just me in London. He gets really mad. It's very, very nice that you're okay with me not being the Edge.
We can totally relate to your conundrum. And as amateur cannabis advocates, we're here to really try to get through to Dr. London, who we're guessing didn't learn much about cannabis.
Nope.
Or the healing properties of the plant, and moreover, the endocannabinoid system in the human body.
Yeah, Dr. London's kind of a prude. I would say he doesn't have much experience with anything leafy in general.
The different systems. So we had the circulatory system. We had the skeletal system. We had, neuro.
LCD sound system.
Cardiovascular. Well, I said circulatory, cardiovascular. And then trying to think of a muscular system, integumentary system. I'm trying to think of what do you call it? The
endocannabinoid.
Which is kind of more similar to, say, the serotonin system or the dopamine system. There's also the endocannabinoid system.
So that's, I guess, whenever I think of systems, you think of cells that form tissues, and then tissues form, organs, and organs form organ systems.
Think James Murphy. You think New York, early 2000s. You think a fun mixture of dance and indie rock.
And so with these in mind, I'm realizing that maybe your vocabulary for a system is different from mine.
No, London, Dr. London, no.
It's like an ecosystem, man. It's like everything's fucking connected. You got the eagles fishing the salmon, and then when the salmon die, they're food for the bears, and the bears' poop is food for worms, man. It's a whole system that's connected.
Yeah.
So the eagles take the salmon and then they give it to the bear?
I don't...
Or does the bear eat the eagle?
Don't look too into it. They share it. It's a...
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but I have watched a lot of videos on this, and I've certainly seen the eagle taking the salmon, and I've seen it taking it to near the bear, but I don't think it's ever... It didn't look like a gift.
It's taunting the bear.
Taunting.
Dr. London, you're missing Stoner Chick Stephanie's point. The point she's trying to make is that there are all these natural systems in the human body, but the endocannabinoid system is the system that helps them all talk to one another. Now, this is not a joke. We're not here to kid around about this. Dr. London, the reason you did not learn about the endocannabinoid system in medical school is because of the stigma against cannabis in the United States. All they teach you is the bad things cannabis can do to people. They don't teach you about how it can be used as medicine.
Okay. And I hate to sound a little bit mean here, but that's pretty presumptuous. I wasn't taught
do
that.
tell.
Yeah. So let's see what I learned. I guess one of the negative things that I learned is that cannabis can be connected to men having gynecomastia. You can have man boobs if you're
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
So that was one professor the professor honestly seemed to kind of suffer from it particularly.
So he was an expert on the matter.
Possibly.
I don't know. I put tits on anything and I love it.
Yeah, why do you say that that's a negative, Dr. London? You're saying you wouldn't like a nice set?
That's true. I'm sorry. That was I don't know I was going to say sexist, but I'm not sure if it would be.
We're riding the line. However, I'll just say I have a pair of tits and it's great. I would wish it on anybody.
Well, sometimes I just think of what is holding Dr. London back? Here is this celebrity doctor. What is holding back his career? And I do think you being sort of stacked might benefit from that. Just because you're trying to be in the celebrity mainstream.
Okay.
TMZ style doctor.
Okay, and the fact that I don't know if you heard earlier, but with my stand-up comedy, I'm trying to do a sort of a post-canceled feel, and I feel like this this is all hovering near I don't know, subjects that I think, especially calling me out on how I've ignored cannabis and medicine, this can all either get me canceled or get me canceled adjacent.
Yes. And I think that's the sweet spot. Again, you don't want anything that well, actually, you are a white man, so you can do anything you want to cancel your career, and you will be given a Netflix special. So honestly, you just go for it. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I won't give you a booger in a napkin. You know what I'd give you in a tissue? I'd give you a little nug.
Oh, wow.
A little nug wrapped in a tissue.
And that's not a metaphor for a booger?
No, it's not a metaphor for a booger. It would be a nice, juicy little nug of cannabis.
I want to hear about some of the practical benefits of smoking the leafy green. Does it, I've got sort of a foot thing. Does it do foot things?
It can help with inflammation. We know this much. So if it's an inflammatory foot condition, yeah, sure. Definitely CBD will help lower your swelling.
My toes have what would you say, Dr. London?
She
melted together?
Yeah, she mentioned
or like what?
inflamed, and you have put it in the fire to try to cure it before. So like that's definitely
That is true.
I don't know that whatever you, I don't know, you stay away from this stuff, but one time you got a whiff of cannabis before, and I don't know that it healed your foot, but it definitely the fire went out eventually. So
That is true. And I do think the two are connected because I saw the one and then the other happened.
okay, so yeah, basically he tried, he didn't know how to go about it, but he tried to light it on fire, the cannabis, and it did just take the house basically. Which I guess that's one of my big complaints about it, is like it's a huge fire hazard. I know people who don't play with fire normally that all of a sudden they're carrying lighters, and so that's a danger as far as I'm seeing.
That sort of is a danger because that how far do they have to be pushed to start using that lighter on something that's not a joint,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually someone's hair, or it's my foot, or it's a building. So that is true.
Cannabis to arson, where's the line? And so that's for our guests. You know, have you done any research into this?
Well, I mean, just yourselves. Have you guys committed arson in any capacity?
I've come close to burning off some of my freshly cut bangs.
Oh wow.
But that'd be the closest to arson I've ever come, is arson to my hairstyle.
I would say that qualifies. I mean, legally, we can look it up, but yeah, I wouldn't. We can cut that out because I don't want you in hot water on this.
Yeah, I don't want the police after you. No,
it's cool. No, it's cool.
You've already sought legal counsel on this.
I have legal counsel.
Her bangs grew back.
And my bangs grew back.
Past the statute of limitations.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Stoner Chick, Kayla, it looked like you were also about to answer.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. That one time I lit my bangs on fire. Lost a couple eyelashes that day, but otherwise, no arson on my record.
But did you do it on purpose or was it an accident? And be honest. We get real on this show.
Total accident, but once I realized they were on fire, I kind of just let them burn a little.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That kind of counts as arson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
No.
Yeah, in court.
Dr. London, I feel like you still have not shared with us what they did teach you in med school about the endocannabinoid system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once again, by that name, I don't know that they taught us a lot, because I don't know if you remember the ones I listed, but there are a number of systems, endocrine system. That's what the medical lesson was from today. And the endocannabinoid system didn't really come up as something, but to your credit, there are federal laws and things that keep it from being studied so much. So
exactly, Dr. London. That's exactly the point, and that's what me and Stoner Chick Stephanie are here to tell you. They've been keeping it from you, Dr. London. The people who trained you, they didn't want you to know.
Well, just to emphasize again here, my professor was very stoned most of the time. I'm sorry, we should say, I went to medical school on a boat, on an island. The culture there,
Boat culture,
lent a little bit towards, no, they didn't use the word endocannabinoid system there, but
they probably called it like the dinghy or something. Starboard.
They might have called it port or starboard or aft. Yeah. So I'm not sure where on the boat the system would have been, because I'm not a renowned sailor, just the right
aft.
Okay, it would have been aft. Okay, well I
don't know.
I wasn't invited there.
Stern.
No, that's the end of the boat where a lot of people got to go, and I didn't always. I'm sorry, Cameron.
You're
were
getting
saying
so nervous right now, Dr. London. Did you get rowdy in your college days and you just don't want to admit it when we're talking about this subject?
Well, in college, I was pretty laid back. No, this is med school. Med school is where I went nuts.
Oh, wow.
You know, because because it was out in the water, basically. So,
no rules.
you know, yeah. Well, I mean, I had a lot of strict rules,
Yeah,
but
for yourself, because you have your own sense of morality.
Yeah, and so I didn't really get into much trouble. But like the thoughts I had sometimes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. So
like what?
Okay, so one time I thought about what if I taught the fish to swim in a school and carry me around.
Oh wow, that's so f***ed up.
Yeah.
How would you teach a fish to? How would you do that?
Yeah. So I like it was one of those kind of small thoughts.
Would you feed him in like a circle or something?
Okay, that sounds a lot better than what I ended up doing at the time was just like I would look out and be like, you know, come to me.
You were hoping to conjure them.
Yeah, but I'm basically.
Witchcraft. I got it. I feel you.
Yeah, which once again was not the term used, but there was, you know, like there's doctors and then there's witch doctors, and that's a different sort of specialty route to go.
But you have to admit, throughout most of human history, if they were to take you with your medical knowledge and just drop you in there, you would be considered a witch.
Yeah, well, like in job applications, that's I think what I would have to put down.
Yeah.
No, you'd probably put healer, I would imagine.
I get, like, it just depends on the company, I think. You know, it's kind of best foot forward. So, like, do you want to play? We'll all play this hypothetical of I go back to what century are we thinking?
Oh, 1997.
Okay. Okay, 97. What
do you think they'd be willing to accept the knowledge that you have, Dr. London?
No, I'll say like coming up is Human Genome Project, and maybe everyone, it's hush hush except for the people in the know, but I would be labeled as crazy, and then later on,
oh wow,
you know,
they'd call you a witch.
Yeah. So I guess come to think of it, too risky.
Yeah. So time travel off the
let's
off
take
the
that
menu.
off.
Is that what we were talking about?
That's what we were getting at, right? Does that answer your question, Stoner Chick Caleb?
Not really, man.
Wow, I'm so sorry to be disappointing you here. All right,
Dr. London, what do you hate about weed so much is the issue?
Yeah, and I feel like you guys are all assuming that I'm just coming in hard against it.
You're wearing a lab coat, Dr. London. That's why.
Okay, because I'm a scientist.
And you have a bunch of like opiate brands on the back, because as a doctor, half of your job is getting people addicted to opiates, right?
Yes.
Half, yeah, but not. And by the way,
and that's sort of a conflict between that and medicinal marijuana. So I mean, let's just be honest with your sponsors, Dr. London.
So we're trying to back away from that, especially Koala Cola, the sort of our corporate sponsor here. We're trying to back away from some of these statements because John Oliver did a piece on fentanyl not so long ago, and so we're kind of in the spotlight here. So what I want to say is that that's bad, and we should have naloxone around, okay, to stop the opioid. And let's cannabis though.
Cannabis, it's known as a gateway drug, but really it has actually become an exit drug and has helped a lot of people going through opioid withdrawal.
Which one is the gatekeeping drug?
That would be
the drug that doesn't allow, is like, you don't like drugs unless you like me.
Yeah,
right?
Like kind of pretentious about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ketamine?
Yes.
Good old ketamine.
Special K.
Shrooms.
Maybe.
By the way, to our listeners, I know that you don't understand most of the words we're saying. Let's. I know we're gonna get a lot of feedback about what we've covered and how. And once again, the words are so complex. Take a seat. Just maybe take a seat where you're at. Unless it's in traffic, then you walk to the. Never mind. I can't give advice like this. That they could be in any situation and they will take me too seriously. Back to yes, ketamine and shrooms, of course, the gatekeeping drugs that keep the other drugs from moving on and having successful careers. Let's see. We got there from gateway drugs such as cannabis.
The big question is just, what the hell is your problem, Dr. London? Why do you hate giving people an alternative to fentanyl.
I have a doctorate in vibology, man. And
Oh, where'd you study?
I studied in the school of the forest.
Oh, wow.
It may not be on a boat on an island like you, but in the forest with the critters, I got my PhD.
Okay, and just, I want to be specific, because I have another friend who went to school, at least with a similar name. What state was that in?
Well, PhD stands for pretty...
Okay.
Yep.
Heaving dose of... That's right.
At the University of the Forest.
At the University of the Forest, and my professor was a hedgehog.
Dr. London, you didn't have a hedgehog teacher at all, right?
I mean, I had that one sort of man boob professor, but like I didn't ask.
My professor also had man boobs.
Okay.
Does anybody mind if I spark up a joint?
Nope.
We don't usually do legal drugs in here. Typically, we try to stick to the more illegal ones. But you can go ahead and.
Here, Cameron, I'm passing it to you.
No, just okay. Yeah. This is what arson looks like, though. I don't want to risk the studio burning down. I don't know how to manage it all.
So you've never smoked weed because you're afraid of burning down your studio? Come on, man, just live a little. Think of it as natural medicine.
And if you burn down the studio, we can just say that it was some faulty wiring. You know what I'm talking about?
No. What do you mean?
Insurance.
Look, if we don't pay our insurance, we don't get insurance.
Well, no, you don't pay insurance, silly. Insurance pays you when stuff goes bad.
Yeah, but we have to have it anyway. So I guess short answer, which I believe might answer a number of your questions, is so we don't have evidence of all the efficacy of cannabis as an alternative medicine, but it does cause short-term memory loss. I'm not sure if...
Wow, and so that's why you want people to still be on opioids, huh? That's crazy. Because they might be slightly forgetful.
I won't deny that it's caused some short-term memory loss. I don't even remember whose turn it is with this joint. Come on, Dr. London, just take a hit, man.
Yeah, man. Dr. London, man.
And I forgot what the lesson of the day was about.
Yeah, thank you.
Looking on radiation poisoning or something.
It was a lot about radiation poisoning.
There's a lot for my...
And searching for disease and not finding it, which is Dr. London's least favorite thing. He calls it a waste of time if someone comes in for a checkup and they're healthy.
Okay, well, I guess if we're going to get to that, whenever you have a riddle before you, do you want to solve it in 2 seconds, or do you want to really put some time into that riddle?
I would say if I'm getting paid like $10,000 to solve this riddle, I would like the first one.
Okay, no, I guess fair counterpoint.
If it was all about riddling, I'd like to have a little time with the riddle. If that makes sense.
Okay, see? Okay.
So I see where you're coming from. But if it came down to like... Yeah, I see both ends.
Though I should clarify there. I'm not normally, on Ritalin while doing it. Like, that's a pretty specific sort of drug to be taken. But that one, I will say, has the evidence to back it up as a treatment method for certain conditions.
Now, it has been proven that marijuana does help with like being like lame and like stupid.
It helps that, or it makes it worse? What? I'm sorry, when you say helps,
it could go both ways, unfortunately, and you don't know which one.
Okay. I guess. Okay, yeah. Let's say that I'm considering it, and we'll say that I'm ignoring whatever date is in my head. I have someone come into the office, and they say, "Man, I'm always just really tense and anxious, and I try to go to bonfires where people are playing acoustic guitar, but I just feel out of place."
Like, I don't know how to vibe is basically what they're saying.
Yeah. Like, everyone else there is pretty fine, but I'm like kind of occupied in my head a little bit too much with the cares of the day.
When I look at a flower, I just see a flower, not the universe unfolding in front of my eyes kind of thing.
I've never once considered, is your blue maybe my red?
Yeah, they complain of this stuff the whole time.
How do I make my hand move? Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm writing down the patient's complaints, they'll say like, I've never struggled with
I've
this.
never had that
red and
thought
blue
ever.
debate.
Which
And
Yeah.
you know what you would prescribe them, right? Are you going to say fentanyl because you're on their payroll?
I thought it was going to be Ritalin.
No.
Okay.
Hey, Ritalin. We would prescribe them weed, man. It's the best medicine for stress.
Yes.
Your patient would just sound stressed out as hell, man. Just give him a little doobie.
I guess the only thing there is, because kind of, and that's once again, because I push aside all that I have in there. Because I was thinking like there are anti-anxiety medications as well. But I get what you mean where I don't know how the anti-anxiety medications would affect their vibe at a campfire. Like I haven't seen that in clinical testing at all.
Well, then let's do a test. Let's do our own
No, okay.
study where we give people weed at bonfires. Like right now, Dr. London, take a hit. You still haven't. Cameron is
It's true.
lit
I
up
know,
right
and I'm so
now.
scared of the fire that is just ready to break out around
Well,
him.
I'm keeping this.
he's got-
It's a little flame alive, Dr. London. It's not going to get any bigger.
I just we've already had the cauliflower marshal 3 times this week, and it's been for prank calls, but it's still like
They're going to know our numbers, so they're not going to answer, unfortunately.
yeah. I guess I just have to say here that I have thought of what if a different person perceives the colors differently. I've already had the thought.
Oh, okay.
Before?
So you're saying you have like smoked up before. That's cool, dude. That's cool, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, no one's going to judge you, man.
Okay, but all I have to say is that and like this is totally not with the what I perceive to be the vibe currently, but we have to do chores.
Oh,
come
no. You
on.
are killing the vibe.
The wheel of chores.
No. Have you ever had a nice sativa and then folded hot laundry? It is one of the most satisfying things you can do, and I hate folding laundry sober.
Okay, because I've had one of those.
I haven't folded laundry sober in over 10 years.
Yeah.
Not a joke.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Lennon, because being a celebrity doctor, I'm sure you have help folding all your laundry, right?
Yeah, well they smoke around me and I fold it. Yeah, like because I can't do all of that
Oh,
work.
yeah.
So they do they smoke and then I fold. But which on it like it's kind of a blast for me. Like because especially the challenge of folding a fitted
Oh, wow,
sheet.
yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, people say they can't do it, and I'm like, well, I'm watching it on YouTube trying to get the tips for how to do it right. And it's so for me, it's a total thrill. I feel like I'd be losing a lot of my like recreation time if I kind of lost sight of that.
But in that case, if you enjoy it, it would enhance your enjoyment, Dr. London.
It sounds like Dr. London is getting contact high from his helpers around the house while he's folding laundry.
It does really sound like you're sort of you maybe when you have these thoughts about do they see green when I see purple? Is it after folding all this laundry, Dr. London?
It's well, especially because it's I do a tie-dye laundry style, and I kind of mix and match colors and stuff. So yeah, there are a lot of colors going, and everyone around me. I do invite a crowd over, and there is usually someone playing guitar while I fold laundry. And there's a bonfire there as well. A guy on bongos usually as well.
See, it's just so weird. You're so like resistant to all this because it sounds like you constantly hang around the type of people who would be pro medicinal marijuana.
Oh no, they all whenever I say like, is that bad what you're smoking? And then they'll say like, no, bro, it's fine. So
Doctor, you're looking a little bit high right now. I mean, we did just hotbox your podcast studio.
Thank you for saying it, and that's similar to what they say at laundry time. Yeah, I guess thank you. I appreciate that. Outside of laundry time, people don't say it enough.
I'm going to start using laundry time as a euphemism for getting blazed. I'll be like, it's laundry time.
I can't relate to that.
Smoke weed every day.
That is a huge thing you're missing out on, Dr. London, is you can say anything with a certain tone, sort of like your stand-up, and it means getting high.
Yeah.
Like you can be like, I'm gonna go take the dog to the mall. And if you just say that with like the right cadence and with enough like uhs in between your words, people know what you're talking about.
Yeah, going to the mall with the dog.
We really should, I guess, just do the chore wheel, huh? It's never gonna click.
I'm going to go vacuum the yard, man.
Yeah, see, I absolutely know what that means.
I'm gonna go wash my ceiling, man.
Okay. I mean, like, I guess if you had to power wash it, if it got something on it, sure. It's...
Oh, boy. Let me explain the chore wheel. So, Dr. London and I have unfortunately been neglecting everything on our to-do list for a really long time. I mean, specifically, Dr. London, you have not shaved that one single hair that is coming out of the middle of your forehead. You say, I'll do it later.
I think it's going to work into the hairdo eventually.
You think it'll just kind of go back?
It's got to connect,
It has to. That's how hair works, right? It always has to connect.
Well, the thing is, because, I'm sometimes scared of my hairline receding, but I figure if this is it trying to make a comeback, and if I stop it there, it'll meet in the middle,
Does it hurt?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
No, I can tell.
Yeah.
It does look very sore. But Dr. Lennon hasn't been able to do stuff like that because we haven't landed on that chore on the chore wheel. What is the chore wheel? We made this fun wheel to convince us to do our chores. It has all of our chores on it, all of our tasks, and every week we spin it, and whatever it lands on, that is the chore we must do. Now, stoner chicks, would it be possible if you guys could spin that dang old chore wheel?
Steph, do the honors.
All right, here I go.
Oh no, of course you have to do
Not this
one.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah. So we have to introduce the town to the new mayor. Let me explain what I'm talking about. The mayor has died. Aww. The mayor that we've talked about in all these episodes of this show, the mayor unfortunately has passed away. And when that happens, a new the mayor arrives.
Mm-hmm.
That new the mayor is now the mayor. It's sort of like a Santa Claus situation where, you put on the mayor's outfit, you become the mayor, that is you sort of absorb all of their responsibilities. But this new guy, we got to show him the ropes. We got to show him around town. So we're just going to do, all of us, all four of us, just maybe some simple tips and tricks on living in this city.
This town, yeah.
This town where the mayor is in charge of.
Yeah.
Well,
the town of here.
This town, specifically.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to set him up with some dank bud.
Yes, absolutely.
We got a friend who works in the kitchen over at Wendy's.
Uh-huh.
One or more of us used to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he just happens to have the best bud in town, so.
Now, just to clarify, is bud, it's not air bud, correct? Okay.
A little bit.
Just
Maybe if you have a little bud and you watch Air Bud, that's a good thing. It's a double bud.
Yeah,
okay.
That would be like Air Bud.
So you'd be doubling up on the... Okay, I just want to clarify because that's my frame of reference here.
Sure.
So after we get him his chronic, we'll take him over to Hollywood Video to rent Air Bud.
Well, now I'm tracking.
So is getting it from the guy at Wendy's cheaper than just going to the dispensary, or is that extra step sort of? Is there a reason for that? Is there something fun about going to see the Wendy's guy?
Well, in this town
where there is no dispensary because it's illegal, man.
Mm-hmm.
Where they don't even teach their doctors about the endocannabinoid system.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the boat, and there was no laws, so they could do whatever they wanted to on that boat.
Yeah, there's a chance that they had smoked and forgot.
But we do have, starting this year, a new dispensary. It's actually DJ Dillon's dispensary in his basement.
Now, unfortunately, it's not, regulated.
Nope.
And, there are a lot of... It's not always... You won't always get whatever Air Bud you want. from it. But it's
It's sort of
very,
a grab bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
You grab the bag and then you just take it and you leave. You pay $50 and just whatever it is, you just deal with it.
Oh, yeah, that is a bit of a grab bag.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could be what you want. Could be a pet, new friend.
Could be a little Airbud.
Could be a little
Honestly.
Airbud. Once we get Airbud on video cassette, we're gonna go to Petco
Okay.
and we're gonna buy 3 lizards.
Okay.
With the mayor, and we're gonna set the lizards free.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
It's
Political
it's
statement.
just like a ceremonious thing.
Yeah. It's like you're
Um,
starting anew.
Yeah, it's like another one of those things where you go, yeah, I'm just gonna set the lizard free, man. It's
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Something that I would apologize for after getting canceled. But I think that's one of the lines to use is I'm sorry for setting the
lizards
free.
free.
Yeah. That's been in a lot of them.
I'm writing these things down for whenever I use it in my stand-up special on Netflix.
That's what I would do with the mayor. I'd get some lizards and set them free.
Yeah. Well, it's every ceremony thus far. You did your reading on it, but yes, every time we have a new the mayor, we have had the lizard freeing ceremony. 3
Yeah.
lizards representing the 3,
The
the
3
trifecta of
are
the
the
town.
3 pillars of the town, which is duty.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that can be spelled both ways.
Yes.
It's written out both ways with the slash in
Yeah, because everyone likes a good giggle,
between.
and it's duty, partnership,
Mm-hmm.
And that's
and
spelled both ways. Either ways, it says partnership just to.
and fragility.
Fragility, yes.
Yes.
Those are the
Extremely
town
fragile town.
3 pillars, and that's what the lizards represent when you release them.
The idea, because our 3 pillars, one of which is extremely fragile.
Yes.
Which that was not originally, and this is sort of a fun fact of the town. There were only 4 pillars. 1 collapsed completely, and then the side it collapsed on was the side with the 3rd tower, and so it's not looking great, but it's holding for the moment.
Yeah.
So we're really excited. We were excited to show the mayor this.
I mean, Dr. London
Fragility?
is. Oh, sorry.
Fragility is a good thing, because if you're too hard, that doesn't quite leave room for vulnerability, Dr. London.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And like for the people who dwell in that building with the pillars holding it up, I'm sure that they feel similarly, just as long as it's fragile but not collapsed. Like there's that line that I think is
And
good
you're
to
all
walk.
about kind of walking on that line and like being on the edge, and
It's just that's how to get a Netflix special, right? Like that's gotta be.
What are you showing the mayor, Dr. London?
Yeah, so we've released the 3 lizards for the 3 pillars, and then I will do the traditional thing of saying, "Oh crap, we gotta catch those lizards!" So
And
we
then you
call
chase
the
the
town
lizard.
together,
Yeah.
because that part of the ceremony is very private, but it's televised, and so the moment the lizards are out, we panic because we need to catch those lizards because they end up becoming sort of a part of the town's committees and things. So town comes together to try to find these lizards, but like it's in the grass. It's like we haven't done it yet, so like I'm already thinking through like it's gonna be bad this year.
It becomes as sort of
we have a
large and
moat.
extensive as a missing person search.
Oh yeah,
Helicopters, huge lights. Yeah. Like if an escapee from a prison, it's sort of the same intensity for these 3.
most of the
lizards.
town's funding.
It's kind of like when you do stand-up, Cameron, and the whole audience is blinded by the lights.
Oh yeah, that so far has worked to my advantage because then it allows people to really hear the jokes, which I haven't figured those out yet. But once I do, they're going to be so locked in,
Mm-hmm. And in this case, it helps us hear the lizards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which surprisingly quiet is from the past new the mayors. That's been my lesson. So I'm wondering if this year, and Cameron, maybe you have some suggestions on this, how to enhance this.
AirTag. Put an AirTag on them, like the Apple
Just-
AirTag.
That's a great idea. Freaking love that.
And then you just open up the Find My app, and then you know where the lizard is. And then, you can do it. You can stomp on it or whatever you want.
No. Okay. As an animal lover, that's not my vibe.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. If we, depending on who is, vibing their way towards the lizard, it could hurt the lizard, which we need the lizards for the ceremony later that day. So that's why I'm wary of the AirTag idea.
You could still, you don't have to kill them if you can humble them a little bit.
Yeah, the most prideful creature of all, the lizard.
Yeah, the lizard.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, yeah.
Do you want? I mean, I would like to show the mayor sort of the most famous part of town, which is the ice cream shop, because I saw a dead body behind it last week, and I think that would be really cool to sort of show him.
Oh no, are you okay, Cameron?
No, I'm sort of traumatized about it, and I want to get me and my friends together, and we're gonna go on sort of a long journey and bond together, and then we're gonna to see this dead body next to the ice cream shop.
I recommend cannabis for that journey.
Yeah, that would be really useful, I think. And it'll definitely open up my mind to like, what does this body mean and stuff like that.
What does your body mean? What is your body? What dimension are you in? Is this the dimension? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, is this the fourth dimension, or is it possibly even the fifth dimension? If not, up and to including the sixth dimension, Dr. London.
Have you already, because it's been a week, you said, since you found this body?
Yeah.
So, what thoughts have gone through your... Because I feel like even those thoughts wouldn't last for a full week necessarily before you go ahead and contact the authorities. Say like, hey, there's a dead body. Maybe we should...
Well, I'm showing it to the mayor. What bigger authority is that?
Okay. I get... And it does take a week for the transfer of power from the dead mayor.
Yep.
From the mayor, sorry.
Yeah, so that's why this week is sort of a no laws purge style week, is because there's no mayor to keep things in order.
And that's why
the
police,
the ultimate power, the town's mayor.
And that's why it's been so safe. I don't know if you've noticed how relaxed I've been compared to usual, but with the cannabis in the studio, there's no laws against that currently, fortunately.
Yeah.
So, well, good.
Yeah.
So maybe that means you'll want to take a hit, Dr. London.
Yeah, no, it's the risk of arson is so great, and it's kind of my exclusive experience with this thing. So
I'm just so surprised you're antsy around lawlessness. Like, you spent so many years on the boat, just out in open water with no rules.
Well,
that should be home for you.
It was a tough time in my life, though. I had to learn all this stuff. Wow.
Oh, it was tough because of studying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's kind of, how whenever you listen to, like a song on your way to the same song on the way to like work or something, and like you hate your job and the song is associated with that drive to that.
Sure, yeah.
Similar thing with my studying and lawlessness. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's fine. To each their own, I guess.
Yeah. Just the risk of arson is so great. Anyways, but I guess we'll go ahead and destroy the chore wheel. I don't know if you can. I guess this is an instance where your arson loving treat there could be used on the chore wheel. Yeah, because we have to destroy it every week because it's all arranged. We add new chores, take off one chore. So if Stunner Chick Kayla, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and breezing your joint anywhere near that chore wheel, because it is kind of
unbelievably flammable. Yeah.
I'm just gonna light it on fire with my lighter, man.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's not as a
Oh, yep. That's it.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. So, thank you so much for being on, everyone. To Stunner Chick Steph, Stunner Chick Kayla. Do you have anyone you follow, anyone you are a fan of that you'd like to give a shout out here?
We're fans of our damn selves. We are also podcasters. We have a podcast called Stoner Chicks Podcast.
Whoa.
I know.
It's kind of like a comedy, feminist, cannabis podcast. Is that how you describe it, Stoner Chick Stephanie?
Yeah, I describe it if you took a really cute kitten and your best friends and you got really high and you're just with your best friends and there was a kitten that you were all looking at. That's kind of our podcast.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And this is sort of the innovation I was talking about earlier. Dr. London is so simple-minded. He's probably thinking, oh, is that a visual aspect, the kitten? But kittens are a vibe, Dr. London. This is something you're never going to understand.
It's a vibe.
They introduce a vibe that you would never be able to comprehend.
It just reminds me of laundry for whatever reason. But
hot laundry, man. That's what it is. It's hot laundry in your ears.
Okay. So, yeah, if you want to listen to some warm laundry, hot
laundry, man. Hot.
This
scalding.
Yeah, this arson-friendly laundry. Go ahead and listen to the Stoner Chicks podcast. Let's see. So thank you once again to Steph and Kayla. Thank you to our producer Cameron. Thank you to Digital in the House.
Have you ever had a nice sativa and then folded hot laundry? It is one of the most satisfying things you can do.
I haven't folded laundry sober in over 10 years. I haven't folded laundry sober in over 10 years. I haven't folded laundry sober in over 10 years.
Have you ever had a nice sativa and then folded hot laundry? It is one of the most satisfying things you can do.
I haven't folded laundry sober in over 10 years.
It is one of the most satisfying things you can do.
I haven't folded laundry sober in over 10 years.
My name is Dr. LennonSmith.com, and this has been the Jock Podcast.
See ya.